by commending the sailors who have been under attack by an outlaw band of rebels and brigands in Yemen since October 7th. It's the case that the Navy is now awarding them combat awards. Is that correct?
Yes.
We heard testimony. We've had a briefing on the committee from officials from Central Command that those sailors have now been in what was called the weapons engagement envelope for longer than any sailor since World War II. Is that the case?
Yes, it is.
So we should all be proud of their bravery and skill, but I do not think that is a good news story. That is a bad news story. When our sailors go into the weapons engagement envelope, the point should be to destroy the envelope in the first place. So those outlaws don't have those weapons anymore. Yet it seems that all we're doing there is shooting down missiles and drones that are flying at our ships or other ships in the region, or maybe shooting down missiles and drones as they're being fueled on the launch pad. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, Senator Cotton, I would say there are two aspects to what we've been doing there. We have Operation Prosperity Guardian, working hard with 20 other nations to keep the free flow of commerce going, and that's what you're talking about, defending against missiles. We also have another operation which is designed, to degrade the Houthi capability ashore. Again, those are policy decisions, and the Navy's job is to provide options to the CENTCOM commander and the CENTCOM commander's options to go up.
And I know that the three of you are not in charge of these warfighting decisions and ultimately their policy decisions, but I find it alarming that we have all these sailors that are, in my opinion, sitting ducks. It's great that we have the defense systems that we need to keep them safe, but it only takes one of these missiles and drones to get through and hit one of our ships and cause a mass casualty event. That's what we saw a few months ago in the tri-border region of Iraq, Syria, and Jordan when we lost 3 soldiers. So I would encourage you all, as you're discussing these policy matters inside of the Pentagon, to stress that you would like to see your sailors not sit in the weapons engagement zone, but destroy the weapons engagement zone. General Smith, you haven't gotten to talk much today, so why don't we talk about Marine Corps recruiting? There's been a lot of talk about the challenges Navy recruiting has faced. We've had the same conversations with Army recruiting, which I think is even more severe, so much so that they had to drop their recruiting goals to meet them. The Marine Corps is going to meet its goals. Is that correct?
That is correct, Senator.
Okay, so that is a good news story. So what do you think the Marine Corps is doing right that other services can learn? Not only the Navy, but especially the Army, since its challenges are more severe and it's more like the Marine Corps.
Well, Senator, our recruiting environment is one that is professionalized. We have career recruiters, so each of our recruiting substations, or our recruiting stations, Dallas, Fort Worth, San Antonio, has a career recruiter. And we reward our recruiters who are out there for one tour. They are given their choice of duty stations when they finish a successful tour, or they're given their choice of school. And if they don't meet their mission, they're relieved. I mean, it's a Marine Corps mission. We're not selling anything. We're offering an opportunity. And it's part of our branding, if you will, that we're offering people an opportunity to earn the title Marine. And that's the thing that we continue to express. While there are benefits to joining, there's the GI Bill, and that's very important. You're competing for the title Marine, and we hold that very, very dearly. And there's an old recruiting poster, "We didn't promise you a rose garden." We still believe in that, and we still believe in the value of service to our nation. And we're not lowering our standards, and people are attracted to that.
I think that's wise advice to heed. There are other problems, like Senator Mullen talked about with Genesis. We've heard testimony on this committee before. I think there's bipartisan agreement that Genesis has probably swung too far in the direction of excluding people who could serve as opposed to making sure you don't have medical washouts in initial entry training. There's also an issue, I think, with your doctors at MEP stations around the country and the throughput they have. But I think at the end, it's what General Smith says. The armed forces are here to defend the nation. They are not a skills training program for people who want a civilian job. They're not a financing program for people that want to go to college. It's not a daycare for people who have kids or health care for people who are sick. It's not a travel agency for people who want to see the world. The armed forces may do all those things, but the armed forces, first and foremost, are designed to fight and win our nation's wars. And that the one thing we will promise all of our recruits, whatever service they enter, is hard and realistic training that will enable them to win and survive in combat in defense of this nation. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Senator Cotton, and your words have been amplified by your own personal service. Thank you. Senator King requests an additional round. Senator King.
Secretary Del Toro, I think there's some confusion in this hearing about your